What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got another day of spoilers, and dude, I'm so excited because one of my favorite spell types, I don't know, spell cycles ever? I don't know what the proper term for it is. There's ultimatums. Ultimatums are back. And so let's just get right into the spoilers because I am super pumped. We'll start first with probably the weakest one in my opinion. It's Emergent Ultimatum, so it costs black, black, blue, blue, triple green, 7 mana for sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle the card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana costs. Exile the ultimatum. So this is like 7 mana Atris without the body, but then you get to cast 2 of the cards, and then you get to search for them, but they're monocolored, which is like a real restriction in this format right now. I mean, if you could just search up, like, I don't really like this card design, to be honest. It's going to be fun and powerful effect that I think will be pretty neat if it works out. But other than Nissa, okay, here's what I'm thinking, right? If the last card, the card they choose, let me start over. Your opponent choosing what you get to do is always a bad deal, because they're going to choose what's best for them. So this will never go 100% in your favor. B, the card gets shuffled into your library, it doesn't go into your graveyard, which I think is what really takes us down a huge peg. Because what I was thinking, up until I realized that, and this will still be a decent play depending how far along in the game you are, which you're casting this, so you're probably pretty far along in the game, is this is the kind of pile I would want to get with it, right? So you get Nissa, you get Agent of Treachery, and then you get the Green Mythos. And the Green Mythos lets you return 2 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. So if it put cards in your graveyard, that'd be really good because it'd be kind of like a modern Storm version of like Gifts Ungiven, where you pick 4, they pick 4 cards, your opponent gives you 2 of them in your hand, 2 in your graveyard, but you just get like a Past in Flames or something, so no matter what, you just get all the cards in the end. That's kind of what I'd be looking to do with something like this. But even with one of the cards getting shuffled into the library, that's still a pretty good pile. Because I imagine at that point you probably have, like, I don't know, at the very least, like an Uro and, I don't know, maybe another Nissa in your graveyard, or like a Krasis. Like, if you get back like a Krasis and an Uro off of a Mythos, and then you get to cast either like a Nissa or an Agent of Treachery, I feel like that's pretty sick. Or maybe you could get like an Agent of Treachery, a Nissa, and a Thassa. That'd be a pretty neat pile too. And you're already in Sultai colors, so running the Green Mythos in your deck, you're already, getting the max benefit from it. So you can actually tutor up, like, when you play it, you do get to, have the blue-black as part of the casting cost, so you get to tutor something up when you play it. So, like, that's kind of where I see this getting played, but even then, I'm like, I don't really know where this fits in. Maybe it's like a fun of, or like maybe a sideboard card. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's super amazing. Unless you run like a bunch of like overlapping one-ofs. Like maybe you're playing against an aggro deck and you have like Cry of the Carnarium and Ritual of Soot and Casualties or something. No, you can't do Casualties. Yeah, I don't like this card a ton. Maybe in like it'd have to be like a super grindy mid-range based matchup where your opponent doesn't have counter spells, which is just way too specific to me. And this gets hit for 1 mana with Mystical Dispute. So, like, come on. It's a deck building restriction that I don't think pays off, and it's just too vulnerable in the format right now. And then even optimally, it's just not worth it. You could do so much more for 7 mana. But I think this will be really good as like 5-color Niv Mizzet decks. In best of 1, I could totally see myself just going Fey Wishes now and putting all 3 of these ultimatums in my sideboard, and then that would be pretty cool to run this guy. Well, no, even though that's terrible because you have multicolored, so that Niv can fetch up stuff. Yeah, I don't like this card. I mean, I love it, but I don't think it's good. So I'm definitely gonna play with it. So then moving on to the next ultimatum, we got Eerie Ultimatum, which is Obzon color, so double white, double green, triple black. For sorcery, return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now this is a card I can get behind, right? Ooh, man. Like, This is just like a Command the Dreadhorde that's like even better, and Abzan feels like the perfect color to take advantage of this because they have so many graveyard synergies now. I mean, you even have like weird cards like Skull Prophet, where you can tap to put cards into your graveyard. And you don't even need to be running like, 20 different 1-ofs. You can be running 2-ofs or 3-ofs. Because, I mean, just imagine if you get back like, I don't know, like a Paradise Druid. Okay, let's say you're like Abzan Humans, right? You get back your 2 mana 2/3 that makes your legendary dudes indestructible. You get back your 2 mana 1/3 with Death Touch that puts bounty counters. I forget his name. And then you get your general 3 mana 3/3 that buffs all your humans. I don't know. I guess you get back like a Hero Precinct one as well. And then you get back like a Planeswalker, like I don't know, like a Nissa or a Vivian or something. Like by the time you're casting this, that's totally a reasonable amount of cards to have in your graveyard. Like one Ritual of Soot would put half those cards in your graveyard. That's pretty messed up. Or if you go like more mid-rangey and non-humans, you have like get back like a Paradise Druid, which would make it a lot easier to cast this card on time, mind you. So if you're running like 3 Paradise Druids or something, so you get back like a Paradise Druid, a Vraska, which will help you get different cards in your graveyard, a Nissa, and then maybe like a Vivian or something. See, maybe that's the way you have Vivian, you make room for Vivian in your deck, right? You're not running 4 Nissa, because A, Legend Rule, and B, it helps with Eerie Ultimatum. And it's permanent cards. So just imagine this in like a Faya Wishes deck, like Fires. Dude, even like Grixis Fires, right? I see some people, there's always one person you run into on the ladder. Imagine them fetching up this with Faya Wishes. They get back a Fires Invention. Well, I guess they would need that to cast this, so maybe that's not the best. But if they want to insulate themselves, they get back Fires Invention. They get back a Nara Zet. They get back a Nicol Bolas. They get back an Ashiok. And a Faya Wishes from the graveyard or something. Like what? Or like an Atris. Like that's busted. Or in like my 5-color Niv Mizzet deck with Fires, I could see myself running like a 2 of Faya Wishes or something, just so I can get this back. Like, could you imagine getting back like a Niv Mizzet, a Kenrith, a Tameo, an Elspeth Conquers Death after gosh, there's just so many cards. A Gigantha, because we saw that's a companion card that we want to be able to get back onto the battlefield. Oh my goodness. In Uro, you get a free trigger off of that. This card is just so beautiful. I think it's actually way more powerful than Emergent Ultimatum. Like, it's not even close. And I think it's like just like a Command the Dreadhorde you can do while not having to play a ton of life gain. It doesn't let you pick cards out from your opponent's graveyard, but I feel like the setup cost for this isn't as rough as people might think it is. Like, just run like a ton of 3-ofs, or like a couple 2-ofs, maybe a 4-of here and there, and then a lot of 3-ofs. And like, if you're just getting back 4 or 5 cards, like that's totally worth 7 mana. Granted, with how specific the mana restriction is, you'll probably have anywhere between like 8 or 9 mana when you're casting this, so maybe it's like a turn or 2 late. I'd plan around that. But I don't know, man. I'm really scared of like Faya Wishes sideboards now with Fires out, because these ultimatums are busted with those cards. And keep in mind, Fires of Invention is a Throne of Eldraine card, so these are going to stay in the same standard until they both rotate out together. So I feel like we're going to get real tired of these real quick, but I'm super excited about with Eerie Ultimatum, both with Fires and without Fires. I could see it as like a fine 2 of it in the top end of like some really greedy Abzan decks, or on the sideboard of Faya Wishes decks. Alright, let's round out the ultimatums. Let's just get all of them out of the way first. So we got a Mardu Ultimatum, Ruinous Ultimatum, double red, double black, triple white, sorcery, destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. Man, and people were fetching up things like Casualties of War, and that was backbreaking. And now you can just Faya Wishes Ruinous Ultimatum and just wreck your opponent. I think this is really powerful. I think it's really good. I don't really know what type of Mardu decks this would fit in. I kind of see this more as like a Faya Wishes card. But like the effect is certainly powerful enough to make 7 mana worth it. It's just like it's a Plague Wind. Except it's all permanents. It's not just creatures. So your opponent's playing like a Cat Elven deck, their sideboard games. They have like a Planeswalker out. A Croxa they just brought back. 2 ovens. Maybe like weaponize the creatures that they just brought back. a Woe Strider, and I don't know, man, like a Gutter Bounce, who knows? You just play this and they're just back to square one. Like, what? Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun playing this card. I'm trying to think of a Mardu shell that would fit it. There's kind of like the Mardu cycling, like mid-rangey control deck, or like the sack creatures deck. Ooh, like the Aristocrats deck. I saw Versus Live, where Ross Merriam was just clowning Corey Baumeister with a Mardu Sacrifice deck. Maybe you just put like one or two of these in the sideboard. Oof. But then again, I'd almost maybe rather... There's a ton of life gain in that deck because of Cruel Celebrants and the Cats. So maybe I'd even just rather have Command the Dreadhorde. Because if you just get back a Mayhem Devil, you might as well just have... you might just be able to clear their side of the board anyway. But that's kind of the deck I would probably try it out in first. But there is kind of a more like mid-rangey control-ish deck that you could try this in. So if that deck's successful, I could see one or two of them there. Otherwise, Fail Wishes all the way, dude. But now, we'll get to the most ridiculous and prettiest card. Like, my goodness, as soon as this... Like, if No, it's no Bradley. I don't know why I said Sub McKinnon. As soon as this becomes available as a print, and I have any disposable income, I will absolutely purchase this art. This is just so beautiful. And the card's beautiful, too. Temur colors, I think, are the prettiest. So, white, green, blue, red for Song of Creation. It's an enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Ooh. Ooh, baby. So if you have any sort of things that can, like, add mana as your... Like, eternal formats, I imagine this is already disgusting. Like, Pioneer. Like, could you see this in, like, a Through the Breach deck? That deck's, like, in top mode all the time anyway. If you have any sort of thing... it's standard, even like a Through the Breach. There was already like a Temur Adventures Mill Yourself Out deck that people were playing that was like fringe playable in standard. I can't even imagine modern. You can probably just take advantage of this so well. Any sort of like rituals, any sort of format with rituals, this is disgusting. Like, could you imagine playing a Man of Morphos off of this? Just casually draw 3 cards for 0 mana and then just keep going. Like, what? Fixes your mana as well. It's like ritual into Manamorphose, and you just have like, what, 5 cards in hand? That's stupid. Yeah, this is... I guess you'd have 4 cards, right? Yeah, because you go up to 2 with ritual, back down to 1, and then draw 3, so 4 cards. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We're talking about standard. I think this is disgusting. Worst case scenario, which is what people are really scared of, is... Like, I could kind of see it where you play this, you empty out your hand. It's turn 4, right? So you play this, play land. There's some value right there. Some ramp. Play land, discard your hand, and then on your end step, your opponent does like a disenchant type effect. Some people are playing those main deck now. The ones where you either destroy an enchantment or exile a card from a graveyard. That one's pretty good. Or the Abzan card. The Mythos, the Black Mythos, that can destroy any permanents. I could see you getting hit with that pretty easily. That's like a real feels bad. But the whole point of this card is you play cards that synergize really well with it. So you can play the Green Mythos, right? Return 2 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. If you're worried about that, a good way to get back into the game is a Uro, which if you're discarding a hand, you're definitely going to have enough cards. Which that can, cannibalize your graveyard from the Mythos, but... Both are enabled through kind of conflicting payoffs, but they're enabled by the same thing, so I think that's fine. If you just don't go crazy and you play around it. Goodness, if you just have like a Tameo on the battlefield to get this back the next turn, like that's pretty good. You could do that, or, I mean, there's Jumpstart cards, there's Adventure cards, where you can empty out your hand before doing this while still having gas. Escape to the Wilds. So you could play this into Escape to the Wilds. Fire of Invention is kind of like a Nambo with this. But like if you really want to try to go off each turn 4 fires into this, and then just try to top deck a card, or play an Uro from your graveyard. It seems like the worst of all our options so far though. But there's just so many ways to, even after losing your whole hand, to just get value off of this. It's man, just finding a way to win the game off of it. I mean, even just decking yourself is so easy. If you're playing like Ops and Shocks and Growth Spirals, like things that can put in lands untapped. So yeah, you play this, right? Maybe turn 6, or you just untap with it, who knows. Growth Spiral, right? You get to, yeah, you replace the Growth Spiral, because you get to play a land off the Growth Spiral, you play a land off this. You just drew 3 cards, went up 2 total lands, like, oh my gosh. And then you just like opt and shock and stuff. You're making like 3 land drops a turn. Is there, I'm pretty sure there's creatures in Standard that let you make extra land drops too. Dude, okay, here's my dream, right? You guys ready for some ultimate jank? Splash this in a, like you splash the red, right? You go Sultai. I already have a Sultai Citadel dex. Bolas' Citadel plus this. Oh, baby. You just run 1 Thassa's Oracle in your deck, and you'll just deck yourself super easy and win really quick. Play Jace. Maybe I'll play Jace. That way, I have a feeling I'll accidentally deck myself or something. But yeah, Citadel helps mitigate the downside of discarding your hand as well. I mean, it's super greedy, don't get me wrong, but this will help you hit your land drops to get to the Citadel. And then once you get your Citadel, starting with an empty hand is fine. You have 2 land drops to clear the top of your deck to start playing spells. Then once you're playing spells, you just have spells that help you. If the top of your deck's a land, just help you clear it, like Growth Spirals or Timing to reset it. You have Fabled Passages, you have Uros. So like maybe you still go Dread Presence Dryad? Because then yeah, with the Dryad out, you'll have the red mana for Song of Creation. And then also if you play Bolas' Citadel first, you can play Song of Creation off the top. Or just wait till you have a Dryad and you can get this back from your graveyard with Tamiyo. I mean, that's going super deep, but you know I'm going to make this deck, guys. You know this is going to happen. Otherwise, I can't really think of ways to get immense value off of this without, like, decking yourself. Like, because by the time... Okay, so, like, let's say it's turn 4, so let's say you have, like, I don't know, 48 cards left in your deck. You cast, like, 10 spells. If any of them also... Let's say half of those draw a card on their own, right? That's 20... 5 cards to draw a card, 25 cards deep. You're already halfway through your deck. Like, oh man. I mean, it can get you so far ahead that you don't have to cast spells anymore, but... I'm excited to brew on this. This is a card that I'm super happy to explore. Hopefully it doesn't have to get banned. I don't know, dude. In Eternal formats, I wouldn't be crossing my fingers too hard that it won't get banned. I feel like this will get broken in like 2 weeks. But you know, people just play Mythic Assassin's Trophy or something. But yeah, that's the thing I'm working on with, guys. You got your adventure creatures. You got Citadel type effects. Maybe just play this in a deck with like, well, no, that's kind of bad. I was gonna say Experimental Frenzy, but then drawing the extra cards doesn't really help you very much. But yeah, you got adventure spells. You got things like Escape to the Wilds, you got Jumpstart cards, you got Escape cards. You got plenty to work with here to break this card. I think the hardest part will be finding a win condition. If milling yourself isn't good enough, or if you're trying to win before you mill yourself. Trying to find effects that are powerful enough that you can do that. But I mean, with how many land drops you're making, you probably just Expansion Explosion your opponent or something. But yeah, love this card. Alright, next we got Nara Zet of the Ancient Way, 1, and then just get colors, so blue, red, white for 4 loyalty. Nara Zet Planeswalker. Her +1 is you gain 2 life, add blue, red, or white, spend it only to cast non-creature spells. -2 to draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Nara Zet of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to the card's converted mana cost to target creature or Planeswalker. You get an emblem, -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. I'm not sure about this card. It doesn't protect itself in any way. I mean, it's -2, but having a 4 mana Planeswalker that requires you to, like, maybe break even in cards, you have to discard a non-land card, so you could just hit a land off of it. So maybe kind of going down in card selection. and then just dying to like a stomp. That's kind of feels bad. I do like that it gains life as well. It'll depend. I think if the Jeskai deck is good, the Jeskai like tempo-y half creature, half non-creature spell deck, I think if that's good, then this could, I can see this as like a 1 or a 2 of in it. But that deck's already super struggling to balance non-creature spells and creatures. So having just another thing that requires non-creature spell to be good is kind of eh. I guess you could discard creatures to it to find non-creature spells. One thing to consider too, I don't know how really good this is. The -2 is you may discard a card. I saw some people trying to say it's good because of that, but like, if you have a 4-mana Planeswalker that's to tick down on loyalty to draw a card, it's kind of rough. I mean, like, it's fine. Like, you know, 3 mana to Fairy does that, but he also can affect the board this way. For like control matchups where you're not worried about her loyalty, it's not that good. And Teferi has a profound effect on the matchups where that's something that you can do. Like his passive is just messed up. So don't really know if that's a huge upside. But, and also if you want to kill anything, a lot of stuff is high power toughness. So you really need to be discarding powerful cards in order to deal with that, you know? Like an Ultimatum, or I don't know. Maybe you could go like the cycling deck route. I think that's where maybe you could see that. Where you have like that 8 mana turtle, and then you can -2 it. And then if you don't have an Nara Zet out, you just cycle it. Maybe that's where you could go with it. But at the same time, oh man. Yeah, maybe really powerful. See, this is such a specific set of cards. You need powerful, non-creature cards that are able to cycle or something like that. That's too niche for me. But the fact you can gain life while also casting your spells makes me think this could be kind of good as kind of like a hedge against aggro decks. If you can like play it and then plus and then have like a shock ready or something. It's like if you could play this in turn 5, there's plenty of 2-mana spells that can add to the board. Even just like plus this and then cast a Petty Theft off a Brazen Borrower or something. Like that's not terrible. So maybe this pairs well with adventure creatures, because then you can have creatures to defend it. But then you also well no, that's not instant. The white adventure creatures don't pair with this super well. The blue and red are fine. Brazen Borrower and Bonecrusher Giant. I feel like that's kind of where this could go, because then you have non-creature spells to trigger all your non-creature stuff. Then you have creatures to mutate onto, because a lot of the adventure creatures aren't human. And then you have creatures out to protect your Nara Zet. Okay, so that's when I'm brewing around this, I think it's kind of the direction I'm gonna go. But I don't really see this being like a huge player. The fact that you can get to that emblem so quick though, because the emblem does a lot more than people think. Like, let's be real. If you're up against mono red or something, you just cast like an opt into one of their spell, and they're down to like probably just an annex on board. Or no, you kill their annex. Or if it's, I mean, it's turn 6 or 7, so you're probably gonna die by an Embercleave before then. But I mean, cast a Brazen Borrower, bounce their Embercleave, kill their Steamkin that's using it or something. I don't know, man. But also just in control mirrors. Like, you can just get rid of their Planeswalkers so easily with this. Like, if you have a Counterspell War, you're just also affecting the board at that point. Killing their Archons with 2 spells. Yeah, I think the emblem is better than people think, but I think the rest of the Planeswalker is worse than people think. I guess that's where I'm at. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is 1 or 2 of in a lot of like Jeskai tempo decks. Or maybe like, I was gonna say Jeskai Fires, but no. You have too many creatures in that deck, and it's just not affecting the board enough. Yeah, I don't know. This is a very niche card. I'm not super impressed by it, but I could see maybe a 1 of or 2 of. Alright, next we got Kashira, the Orphan Guard. Wow, oh, that's sad. 1 and then hybrid either green or white. 2 of those for a 3 mana cat beast 3/2 legendary creature. Has companion. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. It has vigilance, and each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Whoa. So I think this is probably the easiest restriction so far that we're working around. Gigantha might be a competitor, but I think this is easily runner-up. With all the weird overlapping creature types in this set, I think it's not too bad. And that's just all your creature cards. You don't have to be running only creature cards. You can still be running a ton of enchantments, planeswalkers, stuff like that nonsense. And notice, here's the big thing for me. Each other creature, it's not a non-token creature. Just any creature. So I'd have to see what type of tokens there are. I know there's that dragon fodder type spell that makes a dinosaur for you. Trumpeting Gnar, I'm pretty sure pumps out dinosaur creature tokens. So having them be 4/4s with vigilance, pretty disgusting. Trumpeting Gnar also fits in this deck. You could go Bant, or you could go Sultai, or you could go Temur. They all have hybrid colors, which makes them really good. And having vigilance is like a big game against aggro decks. And this can, like, you can have this as a companion pretty easily and just run like 1 or 2 of them in the deck. That's something I really like. I didn't like that other one, the Cat Nightmare, which also that fits in with this card. Notice how cool that is. How that couldn't be your companion and be in your deck. I think that card's better just played in your deck anyway. I think I said that in the video. But I think this actually affects the board quite a bit in elementals too, man. If this was an elemental cat beast, ooh baby, you could just slot this into like Temur or Sultai elementals. Give them all +1/+1 in vigilance. That's a pretty good, strong game. We have a lot of stuff that makes elemental tokens. If you go Temur, you have the 3-mana Chandra that makes tokens. Let's see, we've seen a ton of nightmares if you want to go Sultai. Nightmares and elementals seem to be overlapping quite a bit. If you go Temur, you got dinosaurs and elementals and beasts are very common in that archetype. And then you have all those vigilance payoffs if you want to go like Bant. Not sure if that's really that good. I didn't see a lot of vigilance payoffs that impressed me. Like there was the one Lord that can like, you can pay 1 and tap them to tap your opposing creatures. But that's kind of weird. I explained how that doesn't make a ton of sense to me with that other card. I think that was the last video. So yeah, I could see this as like a 2 of. I mean, if it's just like a Lord for your deck and just an extra 3/2 that pumps your team that you can start with, I think that's pretty sick. Oh, maybe you could put this in like the Mardu deck. I'd have to look at how many of their creature tokens are human, but I think there's something there. Like if you have a ton of creatures that die and make non-human tokens, put this in a deck with like a Broodmoth, the luminous Broodmoth, dude, dude, come on, man, that's sick. Yeah, I actually like this card quite a bit. I can see it as like a 2 of or a 3 of. Well, a 2 of and then a companion. Yeah, I'm totally gonna brew on this. I like this card a lot. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I love cool creature types. So, and there's a ton of other non-human payoffs already in the format. Grumgully. There's, yeah, the whole Grumgully stuff going on in like, was it Ravnica Allegiance? One of the Ravnica sets that you could look into to make this a reality. Nice. Speaking of nice, we got Zerta, the Dawnwaker, which is another elemental fox, which can fit in the Kashira deck. No, it can't. This doesn't have an activated ability. It's a 3/3 elemental fox for 1 and 2 hybrid of either red or white. So 3 mana for elemental fox legendary creature with companion. Each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. Oh, let's go. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana if that costs less than 1, obviously. And then pay 1 and tap it. Target creature can't block this turn. So I saw some people hung up on that ability, the being kind of weird, because activated ability decks seem to go long. Excuse me. Yeah, they're not super aggressive because they have mana sinks, and that's where they get their value from. And you know, you're not really wanting to put this in like a Ginger Brute style deck, you know. But where I see the value from this being in, I feel like that's kind of just something they pegged on there just so you could put it in its own companion deck. But here's the thing, I don't really know if this is standard viable, let's be real. But I'm very excited to put this in my Kenrith deck. You guys saw it, the Biomancer's Familiar Kenrith deck. Because to start out with a Biomancer's Familiar like that, maybe you can take out your, gosh, what is that card called? It costs blue and a green, you stack a creature, and then you can search for a creature with 1 CMC higher. I can cut down on those, and then just play 2 or 3 of this guy. He fits in real nicely, because he has hybrid costs. Also keep in mind, permanent card, it's just permanent cards, so you can still have spells, so that's fine. And Planeswalkers also have activated abilities. Yeah, I'm pretty sure how that works. Otherwise, Sorcerer's Spyglass wouldn't block him. Yeah, so you can still have Planeswalkers in your deck. So it's not like a super crazy restriction. I'd have to look at like the activated abilities I haven't already looked at, but at least for memes, dude, you could totally put this in like a Kenrith deck. Could you imagine? I mean, I've already done, or like the other cards I had in that deck were Spectral Sailor, drawing a card for 2 or even 1 mana I was doing at one point. It's pretty sick. Shark to Crab goes down to 2 mana for that. Growth Chamber Guardian can now activate for 1 mana. That's pretty cool. Yeah, those are all pretty neat. So at least in terms of memes, this is an A+. In terms of standard viability, the fact that you can play it with Planeswalkers and still have spells alongside it makes me somewhat optimistic. I feel like this could find a decent home. Maybe in like a tier 2 deck. So pretty cool, and you know I love me some foxes. Alright, next we got Offspring's Revenge. It costs 2 red, white, black for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. So it's like... It's like a Nightmare Shepherd, but after the fact. You know, it's not as soon as they die. So that's pretty interesting, and you only get 1 per turn. But red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. I'm trying to think like the best ETB creatures for this. Plaguecrafter is interesting. So here's the thing that's cool about it. You can have like Plaguecrafter in your yard, and you can just wait till your opponent plays a creature and bring it back. You have things like... Excuse me. I didn't sleep last night. Knight of the Ebon Legion. That's fine as a 1/1. So pretty much all the Nightmare Shepherd shenanigans are still good. The Broodmoth is pretty good to bring back, because its effect is good regardless. This thing kind of cannibalizes your graveyard, so they're kind of at odds with each other, so that's kind of a problem. But for the cards you're looking to keep on the battlefield, power and toughness don't matter for this type of thing. So you got Mayhem Devils, you got Judith, you got Cruel Celebrant, you got things that make tokens to help you sack. You got Woe Strider if you really need your sack outlet back pretty quick. Your 0 mana sack outlet. So yeah, this only gets back 1 card a turn, which is kind of meh. At this point, I'd probably just rather play Nightmare Shepherd, but this doesn't die to a sweeper. But if your opponent sweeps and you still have Nightmare Shepherd out, you pretty much get your whole board back. Plus you have Luminous Broodmoth to just keep your whole board alive. So I think this is fine, but I think we have effects that play a similar role for 4 mana that are also creatures, and you don't have to do it once a turn. So in that regard, I don't think this is that good. The one thing is that it's good insulation against sweepers, but like I said, most of the other effects are already good insulation against sweepers. They have to pair it with spot removal to make it a thing. So yeah, this card's fine, but I feel like there's more powerful effects in the format that do the same thing. Here's one I really like though. Necropanther, 1 white black for a 3/3 cat nightmare creature. Whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Mutate for 4. Let's go, dude. Let's go. You know, I told you guys, these cards, mutate cards, if they get you a card's worth of value and can help you go wide, while you're mutating, I'm all for it. These combo with themselves. That's kind of cool. But yeah, dude, put this in like a, I guess we want to go 4 colors. This and Trumpeting Gnar go really well together. I guess with the hybrid cost, you can maybe just go like Sultai or Bant. Or no, Esper or Abzan, based on how the hybrid colors work out, depending on which one you want as a creature and which one you want to mutate off of. But yeah, this seems super good to me. Like you can get so much value because you have this guy, and then like going late game, right? You play him, you have a 3/3 out, and then you have the 4 mana 4/4 that when you mutate off of, you return a permanent card to your hand. So like you mutate onto this, you bring back another Necropanther, and then you return like a Vivian to your hand or something. That's pretty gross, don't you think? Or like a Death's Oasis. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think like the best creatures to get back with this. You have the Cat Nightmare companion that you can get back, and then you can start casting cards with CMC 2 or less. That's pretty sick. That's a good thing to get back. Plague Crafters are funny. If you're going aggro, maybe getting back like Knight of the Ebon Legions and stuff, or dude, if you're like Martyr, you can get back like an Annex. It's pretty clutch. Annex is a super powerful effect, although he's pretty bad in 3-color decks, so I don't want to be doing that. I mean, obviously just looking to see how powerful the 3 CMC or less cards are, but there seems to be a pretty strong mechanic in place to support decks with CMC 3 or less, and this is a very strong payoff for that deck. So if that comes together, this card's going to be sick, and you best believe I'm going to be brewing around it. Dude, Cruel Celebrant's a good one to get back. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just think this is really good. I'll do more research, and we'll brew around it. I think it could be super good. These Uncommon Mutate 2-color cards have blown me away, dude. There's got to be budget decks you can make off of these Uncommon Mutate cards. Alright, almost to the end of the day. We got a card. I don't know what the English version of it is, but translation seems to be Of One Mind. It costs 2 and a blue for a sorcery. It costs 2 less to cast if you control a human creature and a non-human creature, and you draw 2 cards. Dude. Come on, man. This is sick. If you can get this going, this is amazing. We already know a perfect curve is our new dragon fodder. It makes a dinosaur and a human. So play that into this. Turn 3, playing both the same turn, or just play that turn 2, this turn 3. That's pretty disgusting. I'm trying to think of the flash decks. I think Gadwick, so for Is It Flash, we have all the shark effects. We have Spectral Sailor. We have Brightborn Cutthroat, and then we have Gadwick as the human payoff. So maybe we need to work a little bit harder to have more humans in that deck. Let's think about Simic Flash. We got the Elf Druid, we got Spectral Sailor, we got Nightpack Ambusher, we got Nissa Lands. We have, I'm pretty sure the 2-mana 2/2 that grows. Gosh, what is its name? It's a 2-mana 2/2 for 1 and a green with flash. Whenever another non-human creature enters the battlefield, you can pay X to give it X counters. That's a human. So if you can fit, I don't know, maybe put in like a Gadwick or 2, or fit another human into that deck, I feel like you're already kind of going off. That's the thing, this is already merging really well. They play this pretty well. The Ravnica non-human versus human cards were already pretty good, where the humans synergize with non-human cards. So this is just another way to, another way to get paid off for that. And this is powerful, dude. 1 mana draw 2 is so good. So good. And at the very worst, it's a Divination. Like, Divination's been standard playable before. That's not a card that you're crying to have in your deck. Yeah, so in those 2 decks, it's really good. The Jeskai deck? I actually don't know. Because there's a lot of, it depends on where you take it. So, we already had that contention, right? Where we had the mutate cards and the non-creature spells. So you need creatures for the mutate cards. And you need spells for the payoffs for the mutate creature cards, right? But then if you also try to have humans in the mix, so that you need humans, non-humans so that you can mutate onto them, and non-creature spells and have them all mixed perfectly, that's going to be really hard to do. So I don't know about that. But if there's a version of the deck with like, I don't know, Hero the Precinct one, and then just all non-creature spells, and then, no, but you still need your non-human payoffs. Depends on what type of tokens you can generate. Maybe in like the Temur mutate deck, I could see if there's like, you have a lot of planeswalkers like Vivian or something that make non-human creatures that you can mutate onto, and then you have some human cards that can pay off well with them. I don't know, but I think our best bet right now is probably going to be Simic Flash or Is It Flash? Just because they already have like 1 or 2 decent humans to put in there, and they have plenty of non-human creatures. And this is exactly what you're looking for, a nice tempo spell to draw you some extra cards. But I think this, I'd have to look at the cards again, but this could be super powerful in the right deck. Because your floor being a divination is not bad. Alright, last cat of the day, we got Sky Cat Sovereign. Costs 1 and a blue for a 1/1 elemental cat creature with flying. It gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. You can pay 2 and a blue, 2 white blue, so 4 mana, to make a 1/1 white cat bird creature token with flying. Wow. So cool creature types. It can fit in. It can fit in the companion deck for Kashira, the Vigilance Cat Beast, and it'll pump all the tokens. So that's pretty cool if you want to go like Bant or just blue-white. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Kashira could probably just fit in the blue-white Flyers deck. It's just like a Vigilance, just like an extra Lord you can start within your hand. Because I can't think of any humans you play in that deck. Because you got, Fairy Guidemother, Spectral Sailor, Venerated Luxodon. Is Luxodon? I think it's an elephant, so you probably can't play Luxodon. I guess it's not non-human though. Cat, Elemental, Dinosaur. Yeah, I think he's a Spectral Sailor, is a spirit, not an elemental. So I got ahead of myself there. But the fact that it pumps the tokens from this makes it 4 mana to make a 2/2 flyer every turn that pumps this dude will be pretty good. And this is a curve, right? So him turn 2, Kashira turn 3, make a token turn 4. That's not too bad. Yeah, or you could put it in like a Jeskai spells deck, and then put it in with like the 4 mana 1/5 that makes a bird every time you play a non-creature spell. That could be kind of cool. And then so they're both kind of play off each other, and this is a mana sink. That's kind of interesting. You also have the Jeskai Kaikar, who every time you play a spell, I think it's a non-creature spell, you get, or is it an instant or sorcery? One of the two. They overlap. And you make a bird. So that's also pretty good with this and the other dude. And then you can also sack a bird to add red mana. So if you need to like storm off, maybe that could be helpful. I don't know. Just spitball in here. But yeah, I think it just fits in really well into blue-white Flyers, which is already a good deck. I mean, it's tier like 1.5 maybe. It's a niche deck, but this could certainly help it. 2 mana for a 1/1 on its own though is kind of eh. But if you play this into the Lord, okay, so this just has too many Lords now. So you have the 3 mana Flying Lord, and then you can have that companion card. We'll have to look at the creature types, but even just running that in your deck as a 3 mana Lord for all of your cats. And what is it? Cats, elementals, nightmare, dinosaur, beasts. So yeah, we'll have to look at the creature types again, but if they overlap, I think you could get some powerful Lord effects going on in here. And then if you don't have that card as a companion, you can still be playing your Venerated Luxodon and stuff. So you can get a huge board super quick. So let's turn 2 into the Lord turn 3. You're attacking with a 3/3, and then you can poop out a 2/2 that pumps this guy every turn. Eventually a 3/3. You can pop out a 3/3 every turn if you have the other dude. Yeah, I think you could probably find a deck to fit this in. Don't know if it'll be tier 1, but definitely love it. Definitely love the design space. But yeah, guys, that's all the cards for today. Those ultimatums are super exciting, especially the Abzan one. My goodness. Let me know what cards you're super excited for and what ones you want me to brew around. If you disagree with anything, let me know. I'm sure you do. But otherwise, Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what other type of videos you want to see until the release of the set. Otherwise, hope you have an excellent day, and I'll catch you in the next video.